Yuma, good afternoon and welcome, and thanks for joining us at this 2022 ACT Australian of the Year Awards. I'm Dan Borscher from ABC Canberra, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here with you on this afternoon in this beautiful setting here at the National Gallery of Australia to lead you through this ceremony to acknowledge some incredible Canberrans. I begin by acknowledging the Ngunnawal traditional custodians for their custodianship of this land and maintenance of the song and storylines, and of sharing that culture with all of us here in this community and right across the country, and I pay respect to the elders. In this year of all years, the Aussie spirit has really come to the fore. 2021 has provided an opportunity for Australians to gather, to reflect on a difficult year, to pay respect on the sacrifice of thousands of first responders and frontline workers who have put the safety and well-being of others before their own, and to celebrate our collective effort to protect our communities and help each other throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. Through natural disasters and lockdowns, our nation's heroes have inspired us with their selfless acts. It's times like these when inspiration is needed the most. And I think it's fair to say that so many of the people in this very room have done just that. They've inspired us at a time of our most difficult in this country. We're reminded that resilience is very much a part of our DNA. The Australian of the Year Awards program is committed to showcasing extraordinary members of our community, and the 2022 ACT Australian of the Year Award nominees are people who inspire courage, sacrifice and kindness. We look forward to celebrating the stories of these 16 incredible Canberrans and incredible Australians today. To those in the room, welcome. We're so glad to be here. Isn't it great to be able to go back out in public, as I mentioned, as a result of the work of those frontline health professionals who have done an amazing job, who have kept us safe and helped us to guide us through probably the most remarkable changes that we've seen in the lifetimes of many in our country, and we couldn't have done it. So hats off to them, and a big thank you from me and the entire Australia Day team for helping us navigate this incredible situation. While staying COVID safe, we're checking in here at the venue and complying with social distancing regulations as well, and making sure that we follow all of those rules. And to those of you who are watching online, joining us from around Australia, welcome. It's great to have you along, albeit virtually. We've got a lot to celebrate throughout this afternoon, and I certainly hope that you enjoy this show today. This afternoon, you're welcome to join us in recognising our heroes by posting on social media. So please share and show your support by using Oz of the Year across Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. That's hashtag AUS of the Year. It's now my great pleasure to invite Ngunnawal Elder Aunty Violet Sheridan to welcome us to her country. Ladies and gentlemen, please make her welcome.
I feel naked without my mask. I just said that to our Chief Minister there. I feel naked and guilty without the mask. I wore it until I got here. I thought everybody else is not wearing it, so I'm not going to wear mine. So what a pleasure it is to be here once again to perform a welcome to country, and what a pleasure it is to see all you beautiful smiling faces, and we're all back together. So let's hope we're going forward to 2022 and we kick COVID out the door. So congratulations to all the nominees here today, and I wish you all the best. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge our Chief Minister, Andrew Barr, all other LMAs in the room, all the nominees and ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank our Chief Minister and his team and Rachel Stephen-Smith, because all the advice I look forward to every day. I sat at that television at 11:45, waiting. So congratulations to you all, but I just want to say to our communities, we still need to get vaccinated. We still need to do it for yourselves, for your family and for your community. I'm waiting for my booster shot now. So keep the good work going. We need to kick this COVID out the door. We need to say, on your way, buddy, when I want you no more. So Please do that for yourselves, for your family and for your community to keep safe. Our tradition of welcoming people is a culture practice that was handed down by my old people from the beginning of time. What it means, before entering another person's country, you would always announce your arrival and only go in when the traditional owners of the land welcome you. The reason for this custom is to protect your spirit while you are there. And it also showed respect for the first peoples of the land you were entering. I stand here today in this place where once my ancestors before me camped, walked and told stories of many years ago. I am a proud Ngunnawal woman as I walk into the future, teaching the next generations about the oldest culture in the world, the Aboriginal culture. I'd like to pay my respects to my elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here in the room and also online. In keeping the general spirit of friendship and reconciliation, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here today on the land of the Ngunnawal people, who are the traditional owners of the land that we meet, sleep and breathe on every day. So please take care of this land for our next generations. Thank you so much and God bless. And remember, get vaccinated for yourself, for your family and for your community. God bless you.
Thank you, Auntie Violet, for that warm welcome and for sharing the important meaning of a welcome to country and inviting us all to be part of that journey with you. I think you've just kicked off a new campaign there around vaccination for anyone who wasn't sure, perhaps for around the rest of the country, not so much here in Canberra. And Chief Minister, Health Minister, as great as those 11:45 news conferences were, I think you'll agree with me that we're pretty thrilled that we don't have to do them anymore. So thank you very much. Now invite you all to stand, if you're able, as Kim Yang, a terrific Canberra musician, performs the national anthem.
Australians all their lives rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealthful toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strength and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you so much, Kim. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. If you're new to the Australian of the Year Awards, this afternoon we'll celebrate inspiring Aussies across our 4 categories: Australia's Local Hero, Young Australian of the Year, Senior Australian of the Year and the Australian of the Year. Importantly, the 16 nominees you're about to meet inspired someone else so much that they took the time to nominate them, to find the reasons, the things that they were doing to make a difference in the community, to highlight them and put them down on paper. Sometimes those nominations were anonymously and they were about inspiration, contribution and excellence. The Australian of the Year nominations process is open to all Australians 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and anyone can nominate anybody who inspires them. There are literally thousands and thousands of nominations this year, reflecting the enormous challenges we've faced together. So it's probably a good reminder that after this awards today, think about someone in your community. Nominate someone who is making a difference, not because they'd want the award, but perhaps because they wouldn't expect to see themselves receiving it, because what they think they're doing isn't that big of a deal, but in fact it actually is probably making quite a difference. From the nominations, our ACT panelists selected these 16 incredible people who we're celebrating today. One recipient will be announced in each category. These 4 will then go on to join the other state and territory recipients in the national awards on the eve of Australia Day, which will be announced by the Prime Minister and broadcast live on ABC TV and on ABC iView, so be sure to tune in then. Whatever the outcome this afternoon, I think it's fair to say all our nominees richly deserve to be here. We congratulate them for reaching this important stage of the nation's most prestigious awards program. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating them. I'd now like to invite the Chief Minister of the ACT, Andrew Barr, to share some words. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Dan, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can I begin by thanking Artie Violet for that wonderful welcome to country, for that very consistent public health messaging. Second to none. It should have been you at 11:45 with that message every morning, but thank you. Thank you so much, and I hope that you can continue to be such a passionate advocate for this community, and particularly for the vaccination of this community. Thank you. Can I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Ngunnawal people, and to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who join us today. Can I also welcome my colleagues from the Legislative Assembly. I can see a few ministers in the room. Welcome. To Kathy Lee, Head of the ACT Public Service. Welcome, Kathy. To Tim Gavel, who is the Selection Panel Chair for this year's awards. Can I also acknowledge our National Australia Day Council board members, Carly Brand, CEO of the National Australia Day Council, all of our 2022 nominees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I think that's everyone in the room. Welcome. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to be able to hold a face-to-face event. It does seem a bit weird not to be talking at a television camera, but it's great that we are able to gather and to celebrate this community and indeed our nation in what's been a really challenging couple of years for everyone. But it has demonstrated the resilience of this community and our desire to support each other. And they're exactly the values and responses that you see epitomised in these very awards that recognise the achievements and contributions of 16 remarkable people in our community. Those who are helping to make Canberra a more inclusive, more progressive and a more connected community for all of us. Our nominees are leaders in their field. They demonstrate determination, creativity, commitment, but importantly, resilience. They represent such a diverse range of endeavours within our community, including but not limited to entrepreneurship, philanthropy, volunteerism. Amongst this group, we have advocates for young people, for men at risk, for multicultural communities, for women. We have sporting legends and those who see the transformative value of sports and outdoor activities. We have historians, educators, leaders in health, and champions and mentors for our First Nations peoples. So as we celebrate our 2022 recipients today, I'd like to take the opportunity to again thank and acknowledge the contributions of our outgoing 2021 ACT Australians of the Year, Dr. Brendan Murphy, Pat Anderson AO, Tara McClelland and Tim Miller. And a round of applause for our 2021. Now, I also want to acknowledge the enormous work, challenging work, of the selection panel chaired by Tim Gavel for the role that they've played in selecting today's nominees and recipients. It is a challenging task with so many contributing so much to our community. It's never easy to choose amongst so many deserving individuals, and I thank all of the judges and the selection panel for their commitment to both assessing and then finally having to make that difficult decision amongst the amazing people who we celebrate today from the significant number of nominations that were received. But finally, but most importantly, I want to thank all of the nominees for their contributions. I wish you the best of luck today. It is an enormous achievement to be here and to be supported and recognised by your community in this way. Thank you for all that you do, and I'm sure you will continue to do on behalf of our community. So enjoy today. For our recipients at the end of this process, good luck in January, and may you represent the Territory proudly at the 2022 Australian of the Year Awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Minister, particularly for those words around leadership and inspiration. I think that those were the things that cut through so much to me when I was reading through all of the finalists and the nominees, so thank you very much. Right, the time has come for the first 2022 Australian of the Year Award, Australia's Local Hero. The Local Hero Award recognises Australians making a significant contribution in their local community. They're everyday people whose selflessness is humbling. Through their local community activities, these people inspire others to do something where they live. And the nominees for the 2022 ACT Local Hero are...
When Kate Crowhurst was a high school teacher in Melbourne, she realised that financial literacy resources weren't relatable for her students. She took action to research the issue, advocated for financial literacy education nationally, and founded the platform Money Bites presents financial topics in accessible, bite-sized snippets to support more young people to enjoy financial well-being. Kate is currently focused on reversing the economic disadvantages women face in Australia. She's also developing independent Money Bites education workshops that are co-designed with the young people they serve. A youth support worker at the Woden School, Luke Ferguson established Party Down Productions, a school-wide music program to empower and include students with disabilities. Helped by the students, he co-wrote and produced a music video about accepting diversity, which went viral with more than 120,000 views. It was even shared by the United Nations on their Social Development Network website. Luke uses music to enhance the self-esteem of young people with disability by shifting the focus to their innate ability to spark joy in the lives of those around them. As one of the early members of Women's Adventure ACT, Kellyanne Jackson runs this volunteer-led community group, even leaving her job to dedicate herself to the unpaid role. Women's Adventure ACT helps women experience the outdoors in a safe, supportive environment. In a few years, it's grown into a well-organised hub of nearly 4,000 members. Kelly has plans to make Women's Adventure ACT financially sustainable, providing avenues to offer paying jobs to women in the community, while remaining accessible to those who experience cost as a barrier to enjoying the outdoors. Involved in sport and disability services for 20 years, Robert Regent is a passionate advocate for people with a disability. He uses his passion for sport, health and fitness to create a more understanding and inclusive community. Rob founded Everyday Champions in Canberra, which runs programs, activities and events to inspire people with a disability to live their best lives. His programs are built around 6 key life areas: health and well-being, family and friends, wealth, meaning, growth and fun. Everyday Champions was a finalist in the 2018 ACT Chief Minister's Inclusion Awards.
That's on yet. There you go. Incredible. I don't know about you, but just how inspiring and how lucky are we to have such committed people living within our community. I'd like to ask the 4 nominees to stand up, if you're able, where you are. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving them a round of applause. Thank you so very much. I'd like to welcome 2021 local hero Tim Miller and the Chief Minister to the stage to announce the recipient and also to present the award. Please make them welcome. Tim, I'll get you to come over to this mic and you can tell us all who the recipient is.
Thanks very much for having me back again. It's quite exciting to be back in this room. There's at least twice the people that there was last year, which is good to see. I'd also like to thank everyone to do with the Australian of the Year Awards Committee for giving me the opportunity to have this last year in the role that I had, and also all of the staff from the Department of Home Affairs, which really did support me quite well during my 12 months. The best thing about the local hero category is that it does provide recognition to just everyday people. I think the thing that we find when we go in amongst community groups and volunteers, we find that they are just everyday people, regular mums and dads, regular grandparents, and regular school kids. And every single one of them, the bit that I love the most about them is that they wake up each morning just thinking, what's some small thing that I can do each day to make my little corner of the world a better place? And for me personally, and I really love enjoying hearing the Welcome to Country every single time I'm at a gathering like this, because it reminds me why I do what I do, which is rescuing plastic from the environment. Because one of the things that we feel quite detached at this age when we think about the 50,000 years that their culture's been looking after this country is what can we do in 2021? Basically, it's look after it. Well, as my dad would say, don't crap in your own nest. Look after the waterways, look after the environment. And for us particularly, because it's a plastic-based charity that we started, we find people from all walks of life want to stop buying plastic. And so the simple message with that is just stop buying crap. You don't need it. You found during COVID that you got away with very little. You didn't need much each day. You were able to connect with family and friends via Zoom. You stopped shopping. How great was that? Not so great for small business owners, but the big thing that we can find is, particularly with the restaurants and the hospitality and the hands-on creative arts area, there's a way to support that community that are making stuff for themselves and supporting small business, which is great. I think the last thing that I want to mention is for the 4 nominees, the opportunity that this will get you, whether you receive the award or not. It's going to open a lot of doors. I found the fantastic part of that was just getting that little bit more exposure with media, getting that little bit of more exposure with your local government, and just coming up with that one thing that you desperately need. This is your opportunity to grab it. And just being a nominee is enough of a foot to get into the door. We were quite lucky that we, even during lockdown, nothing stopped for us. Because of the recognition that we got through this process, we were still receiving 50,000 lids every single week. My wife just wishes it wasn't at our house. So, Andrew, if nothing else, mate, we just still need a shed. Something about the size of this hall would be brilliant. I want to congratulate you, though, on the green waste program and adding the organic waste, because the one thing that I think everyone is passionate about, nothing should be going in your landfill bin anymore. Nothing. Everything at the moment can either go in your recycling bin. Very soon in all suburbs it can go in your green waste bin. And with us at Lids for Kids, we're starting a zero waste bin for all the little small plastic items that fall through the cracks. So, as I said, mate, just a shed. You're cool. All right, without further ado, good luck to everyone. I'm very, very proud to have you in the same room as us. And nearly, I want to say the Academy Award goes to. But the award for the 2022 Local Hero for the ACT is Luke Ferguson.
I'll just get you, Luke, just a step. And we'll get you a microphone. That's just to let you catch your breath. How are you feeling?
Really honoured. This is a really proud achievement. I guess I've met the other nominees in the category before, so Rob, Kate and Kelly. They're all extremely worthy recipients of this award. That goes without saying. I'm excited for the kids at the Woden School. I'm really excited. You know, I love my job. I love my job. And it goes without saying that next Thursday, the lunchtime disco Laura is going to be loud, all right? We're turning it up to 11. You know, I'm extremely honoured to be, to even be nominated. This is quite mind-blowing, to be perfectly honest.
For anyone who's not familiar, Luke, give us a sense of the video that you made and what drove that, this passion for diversity and inclusion.
I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. I get to empower kids of all abilities, all backgrounds, through the power of music. I mean, that's pretty special. So I come from a musical background. I've been making music on and off for the last 20 years or so, but for me, it's always been about the light bulb moment where you literally can see light bulbs going off over students' heads when they achieve something they weren't sure they could do. You know, they're achieving things that incredible things, and we're not talking on a local scale. They're changing people's perceptions and you know, on a global scale. This song that we recorded in this tiny little studio, which might need an upgrade, is literally, the studio was Frankenstein together by just donated equipment, stuff I brought in from home. A tiny little studio in Deakin is producing something that is seen on a global scale. I mean, it's shared by the United Nations Social Development page. It's crazy.
Imagine what you'll be able to do when you get the studio upgraded.
Then the pressure will be on. But it was just so lovely to see. For me, what makes it so exciting, this job and this line of work, is then stepping back from, you know, once you've taught these students, stepping back a bit, and you can see the students that have teaching their skills and their newfound knowledge to the other students, and that's when you get change. That's when, you know, amazing things can happen, when it's student-led and student-driven work.
What's your lesson about how to do that more broadly in other schools across other parts of our community?
I was thinking about this. I think it is quite simple, but it is very quite simple. There's three main things I think that need to be, for any successful music program in any school setting, there's three things you need. You need, number one, it has to be inclusive. Like, it just can't be it just has to be inclusive. You know, everyone should have an opportunity to make music they want to get up and sing in front of their friends and carry on. You know, whatever they want to do. Number 2 is a given, it's got to be accessible. Like, just don't be precious with your equipment. You don't need to be. If you respect the kids and you're kind, they'll respect you. Excuse me. Thanks. And they'll respect you, they'll respect the equipment. We haven't lost any equipment in the last 5 years. Nothing's been broken. Don't be precious with your equipment. Let the kids experiment. That's when the magic happens. And that's when, the students will achieve things that you weren't aware they'd be able to. I've learnt more from these kids, or as much from these kids as I've taught them. It is just, I feel very thankful to be in this position where I can be passing on my knowledge to other students and seeing them pass it on to others. It's just, it's spectacular. The third, sorry, if I had forgotten the third thing that you need, this is the most important one, and it's the one that's most overlooked. It has to be fun. People forget this. Like, music making should be joyous. Music is magic. Without that joy, it's just dry. The amount of times I've heard students say to me, I tried learning guitar, took lessons, or tried learning piano, but it was just too boring, too dry. That breaks my heart. It's like, it just needs to be fun. And that doesn't mean that you can't have important messages hidden in the lyrics and things like that. Obviously, the song the students wrote, The Labels Don't Define Us, tackles some really serious issues, but you get their personality shines through. There is a sense of fun and a sense of joy, and that is why it resonated with so many people, because it's lo-fi. We recorded that on a really old Mac and really old equipment, but that doesn't matter. Equipment, you can have the best equipment in the world, but it really won't make a difference unless you have that passion, and the joy and the fun has to be there. Keep it fun. The magic will come.
Yeah, more about the story than the equipment. Yeah. Luke Ferguson, congratulations, 2022 ACT Local Hero. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
Sorry, could I just give a quick shout out to the Woden School? It is an amazing, inclusive, it's just a fantastic school to work at, and I'm so happy for all of the students and staff who are so supportive of the work we do. And this is also for all of the youth workers in the ACT who are doing incredible work. This is for you guys. Party Down Productions. We're going to have a big disco next week.
Congratulations again, Luke, and if only there were some cabinet ministers here that had access to money for that new studio. No heckling, Chief Minister, come on now. Now on to our next award, the Young Australian of the Year. This award recognises inspiring young Australians aged between 16 and 30 who have already made incredible contributions and accomplished so much. The nominees for the 2022 ACT Young Australian of the Year are...
We've all gone through tough times where we've had to keep moving and not give up. That's what inspired Matt Breen to establish Running for Resilience, an exercise campaign aimed at empowering people to overcome personal struggles. Matt is open about his own mental health challenges and how exercise helped him cope. With Running for Resilience, he's opening up conversations around mental health, the need to support one another, and collective resilience. His goal is to reduce suicide statistics by empowering people to turn their internal struggles into positive ones through movement. Asha Clementi is inspiring young women to pursue their leadership dreams through her work as co-founder of the Girls Leadership Network and founder of Girls Run the World. Asha co-founded the Girls Leadership Network at the age of 18. 1 year later, she created Girls Run the World, a program that encourages young women to engage in diplomacy by giving them a day's work experience in a participating embassy. Asha is an advocate for gender equality and is at the forefront of young women's leadership in Canberra. Sean Dondas has been an integral member of Canteen's leadership as Secretary, Vice President and President of the Western Australia Member Committee, and as a Director on its board since 2015. He now resides in Canberra. Sean joined Canteen in 2008 at age 14 after his mother's terminal cancer diagnosis. Over 13 years, he's helped other young people cope with a cancer diagnosis in the family and been an advocate for young people's needs. His input has shaped decisions on clinical trials, youth cancer services, community-based support, and online support and counselling. In response to his experiences as a first-generation migrant facing racism and discrimination, Jahin Tanvir was inspired to become a leading advocate for young people across Australia's multicultural communities. He's worked with organisations including Oaktree, the Australian Red Cross, World Vision, and Headspace Canberra. Jahin is vocal about the importance of mental health and regularly visits high schools to offer support to students who might be struggling with stress and anxiety due to the pandemic. On top of his advocacy for young people, Jahin is studying optometry at the University of Canberra.
Well, I think we can all agree that our future's looking pretty bright if our finalists for Young Australian of the Year are anything to go on. What incredible accomplishments already. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them another round of applause. I'd like to invite the 2021 ACT Young Australian of the Year, Tara McClellan, to join me on stage along with the Chief Minister. Please make them welcome as well. Welcome back, Tara. Well, you can let us know who is the next ACT Australian of the Year.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to say a special thank you to the Australia Day Council and everyone who has supported me in the past year as the 2021 ACT Young Australian of the Year. This year has been another unprecedented year with the COVID pandemic, but what has shone brightest throughout this pandemic has been the power of young people. I've been so inspired this year by reaching out to so many young people within Australia and hearing their stories and seeing how passionately they're fighting for our future and a better tomorrow, and what great example are the 4 nominees here today. So without further ado, the 2022 Young Australian of the Year for the ACT is Sean Dondes.
Congratulations, Sean. How are you feeling?
Oh, just speechless, actually. It's huge. Probably shouldn't have broken the seal before.
What inspires you? What makes you do what you do?
I think it's being inspired by other young people. I think over the last 13 years, I've received programs and services and support when Mum had cervical cancer, and when she passed, the people that were there for me were the staff from Canteen, the young people I'd met along the way through Canteen, and I just knew that whatever I was going through, they'd be there for me in my darkest time. And those people that encouraged me to give back to the organisation. I think those people have inspired me, and I stand on the shoulders of other young people that have come before me.
Having been through that and had that support from Canteen, how does it feel for you now when you're the one giving that support, that help?
It's a massive honour. I think it's a privilege and responsibility that they've passed the torch to me to drive this thing forward and ensure and spread the awareness of all the amazing services and programs that help improve mental health outcomes for young people impacted by cancer. Like I said, speechless, but it's been an amazing ride this far, and I think what I can do is just inspire the next generation of leaders to come through and spread the word that there are supports out there for young people impacted by cancer in their family, whether it's their own diagnosis or their parents or brother or sister or grief, like in my case, but they're not alone, and organisations such as Canteen are there for them, whether they want to access that in person or whether that's online through digital mental health. So the support is there, just got to raise awareness.
Well, in terms of raising awareness, what do you want to say directly to young Australians now who might be having a tough time, who might be battling those demons?
Yeah. I would say that you're not alone, and there are lots of people that care and want to help you along the way and ensure that you receive the support that you need. I think this goes out to everyone out in this room, everyone across the country, whether it's family, friends, in your communities, even your workplaces. You may know of someone or your parents at work, or which have young people, young children that need support, because it's not just the cancer that affects the person that has cancer, but it's the people around them that I guess have to deal with the outcomes and the good and the bad that comes from having a cancer diagnosis. So I think this is a shout out to everyone that we all play a role in ensuring that people are aware that there are programs and services that are out there that can help in that situation. So I know that when I was introduced to Canteen in 2008, I think there was someone at the hospital that provided information to my mum to help refer us to Canteen, and I'd like to think that nowadays that hopefully it doesn't have to come to that there are more avenues for people to be aware of the amazing services that are out there, and it's not just on the young person to find and all the information out there, because it can just be overwhelming trying to deal with all the things that young people deal with, and you're transitioning from children from young age to adulthood, and you're working through education and all the other responsibilities that come from being a young person and trying to figure out who you are whilst adding cancer on top of that can be a bit daunting.
Yeah, and look, just finally, what does this award mean for your advocacy and that raising awareness that's clearly been a hallmark of all of your work?
It provides a greater platform for me to spread the word, whether that's through the media, through talking to health professionals, if that's policymakers, and to ensure that the services that are out there, people are aware of them, and it's providing different avenues for me to ensure that if I can just help one other person or one group of people that they know top of mind that programs and services such as Canteen are out there that can assist young people in their situation, as many professions who deal with young people or deal with the impacts downstream of having young people in the care, whether it's in hospitals and you're dealing with the primary cancer patient, but they also have families and other people affected by the diagnosis as well.
Yeah. ACT 2022 Young Australian of the Year, Sean Donlis, congratulations. Our third category is the Senior Australian of the Year award. This award celebrates the ongoing achievements of Australians aged 65 years and over who continue to challenge themselves while inspiring all of us. Without these remarkable members of our community, many things would not look the way they do today. Their sacrifice, determination and courage has shaped generations and will leave a lasting imprint for years to come. I'd like to ask our four nominees this afternoon to stand up if you're able to. And ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause. Thank you all so much. So let's hear a little bit more about our nominees for the 2022 ACT Senior Australian of the Year Award.
As a registered psychologist, Greg Aldrich has long offered his skills and knowledge to a range of programs dedicated to helping individuals, couples and families deal with domestic and family violence. As CEO of Everyman Australia, he's helping men with a range of issues take control of their aggressions while giving them a voice and the tools they need to overcome tough times. Greg is a creative thought leader in the study of male family violence. He's a strong advocate for changing the way we understand men's violent and aggressive behaviours. Anne Buttsworth is driven by a strong sense of social justice and understands the positive difference that volunteering can make within communities. As chair of the Early Morning Centre in Canberra, which supports the homeless community, Anne has successfully expanded the centre's outreach and extended the service it offers, despite the recent challenges of the pandemic. In addition, Anne has been a driving force behind the success of the Australian Women's Archives project. Through her strong leadership and contagious enthusiasm, Anne has built teams around her to effectively achieve goals for the community. Val Dempsey has dedicated 5 decades to St John Ambulance, starting as a cadet volunteer in primary school. In 2020, Val faced her biggest challenge yet as a St John Ambulance volunteer: the Black Summer bushfires and COVID-19 pandemic. She handled the situation with courage and generosity, making it her mission to personally check in on every volunteer to make sure they were doing okay, despite heavy impacts on team morale. It's these tireless commitments that has led many in the community to know her lovingly as Auntie Val. While working at Canberra Hospital more than 30 years ago, Wiradjuri woman Julie Tongs initiated a liaison service to bridge the gap between Indigenous patients and hospital staff. This work led her to become CEO of Woonunga Nimicha Aboriginal Health and Community Services in 1998. Woonunga provides a culturally safe environment for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to access health and community services. Julie is always prepared to offer advice on matters involving the health and well-being of the Australian Capital Territory's Indigenous population, something she cares deeply about.
What incredible Canberrans and Australians right there. I'd like to invite the 2019 Senior Australian of the Year, Dr. Sue Packer, to join me on stage along with the Chief Minister. Please make them welcome. Dr. Packer, who is the 2022 Senior Australian of the Year for the ACT?
Thank you. Senior Australian of the Year is a gift which keeps giving. It is very special to be up here. It's even more special after this extraordinarily claustrophobic, closed-in time we have all experienced. It is wonderful to see a room full of people without masks. I think I had no idea when I got this award of what it meant, really, or what it would achieve. But it has been very, very special. And the person who receives the award today, I hope also will find it a very, very special year. But listening to all the nominations today, it reminds you again of the enormous hidden talents in our community. The people who quietly go about doing amazing things and we don't get to hear of them. And I'd also like to think that all 4 of you people have achieved so much. You are so special. being nominated for this award gives more recognition of your specialness, and it will help in your work in that way. So now I guess I'll find out which one of you is here. And the 2022 Senior Australian of the Year for the ACT is Valmay Dempsey.
Valmay, congratulations. Tell me, how are you feeling?
To say I feel a little humble is probably an understatement and quite overwhelmed, but I'm just so excited standing here looking at this amazing group of people. You are all so extraordinary, and I feel so very privileged to be here among you.
Tell me, what was it that first started your incredible journey of volunteering so many years ago?
Well, I was a young kid. I'm Canberra born and bred, out of Narrabundah. What a great place to come from. You can take the girl out of Narrabundah, but not Narrabundah out of the girl. And I have to say, as a very young kid, I liked the uniform. It looked pretty schmick. And so I thought, I think I'd like to wear that uniform. And then I came to believe in what it meant. And believing in what it meant means you take the idea into your heart about volunteering, about caring for someone else, and about just absorbing the opportunity to be available to do the work that St John does. I'm truly grateful for that opportunity.
How do you hold that in your heart for so long, that love of giving back, of bringing people together?
You know, there's a strong relationship between love and hate. And there are moments when being a part of this wonderful opportunity is joyous. And there are moments when it really does tug at the other heartstrings. I leave one family to go to my other one and put this on. And when I get home, on goes the apron and the mother and the auntie and the granny. But to be a part of that organisation, to step away from that opportunity with your family, to come into this opportunity, is just such a rewarding feeling when they give back so much. I give so little, but they give me so much. Mm. Yeah.
What was 2020 like for you?
Horrible.
Why?
If you looked around all the faces here, I'm no different to any of you. If I could say hands up to all of you who thought it was a great opportunity to do good, I'm sure you'd all put your hands up. But trying to find what that goodness meant, trying to find that avenue of being able to reach out to people, I must say it opened doors, and it's extended and expanded the idea of reaching out to your community in so many different ways. Just so many different ways. And what you give out comes back tenfold. It absolutely does.
Well, on that point, I wonder if there was a lesson for you out of this horrendous 2 years that we've all faced.
Yeah, I think if I could draw on a moment, really, that allows me to share with you what that might feel like. On Christmas of that terrible year with the fires, I happened to have the company phone. People had gone overseas on holidays and gave me the phone and said, "Take the phone, Val, nothing much happens over Christmas."
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So I was actually here with my daughter going to see the National Gallery, and the phone was on the table, and my daughter said, "Why did you bring St John with you, Mum?" And I said, "Don't worry about it, it never rings." When that phone went off, it started a cascade of events that allowed the most amazing people to shine in that wonderful hour. And it allows the individual to see that even though you feel you're shining in your moment, it's that team that actually holds you together. The one photograph that I remember so clearly is they took a photograph from the dashboard of the car of one of the teams that I sent into New South Wales into the fires. They didn't know where they were going. They knew Cooma was on the way. They sent a photograph. They're like my kids. And off they went for 24 hours. And the photograph was through the dash, lights coming towards them through the dark smoke, that dimness, that cold feeling, and nothing in front of them except smoke and red in the background. And which way do you think they went?
Towards them.
Straight into that. They went for 24 hours, they came back 8 days later. And that marvellous team and the other 40 people that went into that area taught me that there is a moment for leadership. I'd never done anything like that before. It was certainly a challenge. But every single one of those people stood up to the mark and they did their bit. And they came back, and do you know, not one of them put their hand up for accolades or for songs and praises. They came in and said, "I need a coffee and clean clothes. I didn't take fresh undies." And I can tell you, cotton is best. It washes, it dries. Just as a mark.
Cotton in a cuppa.
A cotton in a cuppa. And, you know, welcoming the teams home as they came and remembering that we had people on the ground in Canberra was watching this marvellous work. We expand our branches to everywhere. We have the amazing community care branch that reaches out through Project Survival that takes first aid education to people who can't necessarily afford it but need it the most. We have a schools program which is just amazing, teaching kids first aid. And I'm sure that any of you parents with kids that come home with their bandages and saying, "I want to bandage you up," that is such a pleasure to hear that. It's wonderful. And then there's night crew. Oh, bless night crew. Now, when you're all out partying in the city, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'd welcome you to come over to the night crew tent where you can get lollies and water pops. Now we can do handshaking, and we provide chairs, and we provide comfort, we provide support and a safe way to get home. And when I've done night crew and I've met people who need that support, I just say to them, "I'll clean your face and then I'll ring your mummy." Oh. It's not quite like that, but what another opportunity for people to expand under that umbrella of this marvellous organisation. And then we have the kids in green. And yet I wear this one, and I wear a green one, and I wear a night crew one, because I like to be greedy. I really like to be greedy, because I want to see, it gives me the greatest pleasure in watching people who I've seen come through and say, "I think I'd like to do first aid." I said, "Come on down, let's have a look at you." My greatest pleasure is seeing them all come through that, stay in the organisation and step forward, learn first aid, it saves lives.
I think that there are a lot of people that are going to be hearing your message. Congratulations again, if I may say. Thank you. Our final category this afternoon is the 2022 ACT Australian of the Year Award. This award celebrates the achievements and contributions of eminent Australians who are role models for all of us. They're trailblazers who don't wait to be asked. They see a need, share their talent, and in doing so, inspire all of us. Let's take a closer look at our nominees for the 2022 ACT Australian of the Year.
Dr. Maiwa Ahmadzai is an obstetrics and gynecology registrar and devoted advocate for providing empathetic and culturally sensitive care to women from all backgrounds across Canberra. She offers public commentary on migrant and refugee women's health issues, while also raising awareness of the sacrifices and challenges faced when travelling to another country to resettle. Maiwa is a representative on several medical education and advocacy bodies, and a speaker and writer addressing issues such as racism, diversity and inclusion, women's and global health, and medical education and training. Paddy Mills has had a legendary basketball career. He became an NBA champion in 2014 with the San Antonio Spurs and recently competed in his 4th Olympic Games, leading the Boomers to their first ever podium finish. Creating history, Paddy was the first Indigenous Australian Olympics flag bearer. Off the basketball court, Paddy uses his platform to inspire, support and enact positive change. He's the founder of the Team Mills Foundation and Indigenous Basketball Australia. A proud Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australian, Paddy is inspiring the next generation to own their story. It was after an overseas trip in 2009 that obstetrician Dr. David O'Rourke had an idea for a charitable project that would change the lives of thousands of people in West Timor, Indonesia. With the support of his wife Sue Ann, he established the Mother Ignatia Hospital in Soe, West Timor, to help address the issue of high mortality rates for mothers and infants. The hospital has treated more than 46,000 patients since opening its doors in 2016. As an obstetrician, David is highly regarded by Canberra locals for his generosity, professionalism and good humour. As a doctor, philanthropist, aid worker and entrepreneur, Dr. Sam Prince has been a long-time contributor to the Australian and global community. In 2005, he founded Zambrero, a Mexican restaurant chain with a mission to end world hunger. Then, in 2011, he founded One Disease with a mission to eliminate crusted scabies from Indigenous communities. 10 years on, One Disease has successfully achieved a 0% recurrence rate, thereby effectively eliminating this disease as a public health concern. Sam is committed to the belief that everyone deserves the basic human rights of education and healthcare.
And I'd like to ask our nominees to stand up, if you're able, where you are. And Dr. Sam Prince, who's joining us via video link. Unfortunately, Paddy Mills is in the middle of training and isn't able to join us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause. I'd now like to invite the 2021 ACT Australian of the Year, Dr. Brendan Murphy, to join me on stage to announce this year's recipient and the Chief Minister who will present the award. Please make them welcome. You're going to need need that. Particularly because you're going to tell me who is the 2022 Australian of the Year for the ACT.
A few people have already said it, but isn't it great to not have masks and which is a reflection. I think I was selected last year as really a representative of COVID response, and so COVID response is worth talking about. Just very briefly, the fact that we don't have masks is because ACT, we Ken Berens have done so well, and it's a reflection of the great leadership that the Chief Minister, Minister Stephen Smith, Karen Coleman, everyone has done. We are going to be one of the most vaccinated populations in the world, and we've also withstood the extraordinary exposure from New South Wales that's happened over the course of this year. We are the greatest COVID response part of this country, in my view. So it's been an unbelievably complex year for me, still working in COVID, still working in vaccination, but it was a great honour to represent for Canberra the great work that we've done in national leadership and local leadership in COVID response. What a great list of nominees. I think it can be very, very hard to read out a name, such inspiring people, but the time has come to read out the winner of the 2022 Australian of the Year for the Australian Capital Territory, Patrick Mills.
As I mentioned, unfortunately Patrick Mills can't be here today, but I'd like to invite 2019 ACT Australian of the Year in sporting great Katrina Fanning to accept the award on his behalf. Please make her welcome.
Much easier this time, Ben.
Not like the grilling I gave you last time.
Well, plus I can get some words out.
Thank you so much for accepting this award on Paddy's behalf. We know he's, shooting goals rather than kicking them in the United States right now. You've known Patrick almost his entire life.
Yes, I first met Patrick when I was working for his mum in the ACT government. I think he might have been about 7 or 8 at the time, and he wasn't allowed to play for the Valley Dragons or the Shadows basketball team unless he did his Toastmasters and his homework, so I've known him for a very long time.
This last year or so has been an incredible ride for Paddy, as we've all been watching on with his sporting prowess, but also the incredible work in philanthropy and in raising a voice for Indigenous remote communities in particular. What does it say to you that he's won this today?
Oh, look, it's wonderful that he's been recognised for that, and I think this award helps the rest of Australia to understand that what Paddy does is just not on a court. You know, his foundation is helping bringing clean, fresh water to communities, building other sort of capacity for our communities to do well. He's never forgotten where he comes from, and that includes Canberra and the schools that he went to and the people that he met. And he's just been, and will continue to be, a wonderful ambassador. I was only saying at our table earlier that what Australia thinks Paddy's achieved on the basketball court is probably nothing compared to what he's going to achieve over the rest of his life, because he's just an amazing guy.
Yeah, and I hope that this award is a big part of that. Thank you so much for accepting this award on his behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, Katrina Fanning. To all of our nominees here today, congratulations. Someone in our community thought that you're pretty amazing, and now we know why they did. They nominated you, they took the time to highlight your incredible work. And I just want to ask everyone to give you a round of applause as our finalists today. Of course, today wouldn't be possible without the national partners who make this awards program possible. We couldn't do any of this without your support, and I and the whole team are very grateful for it. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge you now. Our National Diversity and Inclusion partner, Chevron, helps us to inspire and foster unity and connect people of all ages and backgrounds. The Australian of the Year category partner, Australia Post, supports our national recipients in the delivery of their messages nationwide. The Department of Health is the category partner for the Senior Australian of the Year award. The Department of Education, Skills and Employment is the Young Australian of the Year category partner, and the Department of Home Affairs is the Local Hero Award category partner. Here are some brief messages from them.
Ingenuity,
creativity, and innovation.
passion,
Purpose, and the pursuit of excellence.
Mateship,
inclusion,
And the idea of a fair go.
At Chevron, we call it human energy.
That's why we support the Australian of the Year Awards.
as the National Diversity and Inclusion Partner,
celebrating the achievement
Of outstanding Aussies.
from every corner of our great country,
And from every walk of life.
because we're all part of the story.
For over 200 years, Australia Post has been at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them to each other and the world. We're thrilled to recognise the incredible Australian of the Year award recipients who make such a profound contribution to their communities and to our nation. We're proud to support the Australian of the Year award and join you in celebrating these inspiring Australians.
This award is given to people from all walks of life who have dedicated their lives to making a difference, be it through education, science, advocacy, sport, and many other fields of endeavour for their fellow Australians and the community. It celebrates commitment, it celebrates facing adversity and staying the course. It celebrates lifelong learning and giving. It speaks to the wealth of experience and wisdom senior Australians bring to our nation, recognising the drive and commitment of those who continue to achieve and contribute, inspiring all generations. I congratulate all nominees and thank them for their contribution to furthering our nation.
As the Federal Education and Youth Minister, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate and recognise all of the nominees for the Young Australian of the Year Award for this year. Each of you has been recognised by your state and territory government for making an absolutely outstanding contribution to your state or territory, and I want to thank you for that. You are a great ambassador and great role model for so many others, and I wish you well in the overall finals, which of course will be announced on Australia Day in the not too distant future. All the very best.
Australia's Local Hero Award recognises everyday Australians who have seen an opportunity to make their community a better place. Through their extraordinary commitment and selfless efforts, these local heroes have made a real and enduring difference. Congratulations to all of the finalists in the Australia Local Hero Awards. You are an inspiration to all of us.
I'd also like to thank our broadcast partner, the ABC, who supports us year-round and will screen the national announcement live on ABC and iView on January the 25th, which begins a day of programming to reflect, respect and celebrate on Australia Day. Media partner Australian Community Media supports the calls for nomination through their unique collection of community-based local newspapers and websites that span the nation and help to inspire millions of Australians by telling the stories of our extraordinary state and territory recipients. Our alumni partner is the International Day of People with Disability. This day on December 3rd each year challenges the way we think about disability to help grow a more inclusive Australia. We thank national accommodation partner Crown Plaza. We appreciate your warm hospitality for our travelling nominees and recipients, especially each January. Thanks goes to cultural partner, the Australian National University, who through its schools of art and music designed and produced our trophies and composed and performed music at the events. Our thanks to exhibition partner, the National Museum of Australia, who delivers the Australian of the Year exhibition right here in Canberra and around the country throughout the year. And last but certainly not least, we appreciate the continued support of legal partner Minter Ellison. Please join me in thanking these national partners for their vital ongoing support. Congratulations again to all of our recipients. We'll need to take some photos with you, so please don't go too far. But thank you for the work that you've done and that I suspect you'll continue to do as a result of your nomination and awards today. On behalf of everyone here, I wish our recipients and nominees every success in their future endeavours. To our recipients, we also wish you the very best on the national stage on January the 25th. And this brings us to the end of the formal proceedings. I encourage you all to think about the people who inspire you in our communities, the networks and across families as well. You can nominate someone now for the 2023 Australian of the Year Award at australianoftheyear.org.au, and I would encourage you to think about that unsung hero, the person making a difference in your community, be it a difference big or small, but someone who gets on with it not because of awards, but because it's the right thing to do. These are the people that we absolutely need to highlight. From me though, Yara, thank you ladies and gentlemen, have a great afternoon.